Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wal aqibatu lil muttaqeen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya'i wal Mursaleen, wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Amma ba'du, fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaytanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Shahru Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi al-Qur'an. وفي مقام آخر إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد وبارك وسلم. We are in the month of Sha'ban, approaching the holy and blessed month of Ramadan, and in this short recording I'd just like to say a few words that can perhaps prepare us for this holy month that precedes us ahead. The Prophet ﷺ lived the month of Ramadan and preceding it the month of Sha'ban in a way that we should all try to emulate. This month of Sha'ban, Sha'banul Mu'azzam, the Sahaba say that the Prophet ﷺ fasted the most outside Ramadan. If he fasted in any month outside of Ramadan, the most, that was in the month of Sha'ban. And there are various ahadith to this effect. So some Sahaba would say that the Prophet ﷺ, it would seem that he is fasting continuously throughout this month. And why would he fast so much in this month? Why did he advise that the Sahaba should also fast in this month? Remember, they're not obligatory fasts. The obligatory fasts are only those fasts which are in Ramadan. They are the obligatory fasts, or those that you may miss in Ramadan and you have to make up later. These are supererogatory, they are praiseworthy. So if you fast in this month, you will receive great reward. But the Prophet ﷺ used to prepare the Sahaba, used to train the Sahaba for the coming month of Ramadan Sharif. So the month of Sha'ban, we should all see as Muslims as a month in which we prepare for the coming of Ramadan Sharif, so that the onset of Ramadan, the onset of fasting, doesn't take us by surprise, but we are already in the rhythm of fasting in Sha'ban, so then we are comfortable and we are ready to take on the fasts of Ramadan Sharif. In fact, some of the traditions say that the Sahaba would prepare for Ramadan Sharif months in advance. They would prepare months in advance for Ramadan Sharif with great anticipation and great excitement. And as we only have some days left before the month of Ramadan, we also should be anticipating the month of Ramadan with great excitement, with great fervour, that, oh Muslims, or oh brothers and sisters, addressing each other, the month of Ramadan is approaching us. The month of Ramadan is approaching, the month of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessing, the month of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy, which we all await in this special month. And the Prophet ﷺ would prepare the Sahaba in this way regarding the greatness of this particular month, so they could be spiritually prepared as well as physically and mentally prepared for the month of Ramadan. So like I said, the Sahaba would prepare months in advance. Many of our brothers, the month of Ramadan is beginning, perhaps even a day before, they are just finding out, is it the Taraweeh prayer tonight? Is it the Taraweeh Salah tonight? With no idea of what they needed to do in order to prepare for this great and holy month. All of you in your own lifetimes, if there's an important event coming up, an important week is coming up, then you spend many days in advance, or weeks or months in advance preparing for that. And we should not be doing any different. In fact, we should be doing so much more for the month of Ramadan, preparing in this way, greeting our brothers and sisters, informing them about the greatness of this month and the rewards. In fact, the Prophet ﷺ gave a khutbah. In the hadith we find he gave a khutbah before Ramadan Sharif, exactly in the way that we are trying to do here today. In Sha'ban, towards the end, telling the Sahaba about the fada'il, about the great rewards that a Muslim can benefit from in the holy month. This is how the Prophet ﷺ used to teach the Sahaba. He would give them a sermon explaining the different qualities of the month of Ramadan, the different rewards. For example, that a non-obligatory worship in Ramadan, if it is performed, receives the same amount of reward as an obligatory worship does outside Ramadan. For example, he would talk to them about the greatness of Laylatul Qadr, the night which we will all be celebrating in the one of the odd nights in the last 10 days of Ramadan. He would tell them that this was the month in which the Quran Majid was revealed. And every Ramadan, Jibreel alayhi salam would run through the entire Quran with the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. So this is how the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam would teach the Sahaba. If you compare that and contrast that with our lives here in the West and elsewhere in the Muslim world, it's very, very different. We probably find that we are quite far removed from the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ, his noble Sahaba and the Ahlul Bayt. Just look around what's happening in the Muslim world. Look at all the mess that all the Muslim countries are in. Muslims fighting against each other, killing one another. This is not the way that you approach the month of mercy, the month of Ramadan. Our hearts should be full, should be filled with mercy. But instead of that we see not only animosity, but we see that the fitna is of such a degree that Muslims are murdering and killing one another indiscriminately, without any care, without any mercy. And what does the Holy Quran say regarding this? Regarding killing another Muslim brother? مَن يَقْتُلْ مُؤْمِنًا مُتَعَمِّدًا فَجَزَاؤُهُ جَهَنَّمُ. Whoever kills a Muslim, مُؤْمِنًا مُتَعَمِّدًا, deliberately, kills another mu'min, another believer, deliberately, because this part of Surah An-Nisa is talking about the different types of murder, of manslaughter and so on, and what the Islamic punishments are for that. And after that it says, whoever kills a Muslim brother needlessly, then what is his end? What is his recompense? It is Jahannam, hellfire. It is hellfire. وَغَضِبَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. And the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be upon this murderer, on this individual, on this man, on this person who kills another believer. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَعَنَهُ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala curses this individual. This person is cursed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Says it in the Quran Majid. This is what the punishment is. وَعَدَّ لَهُ عَذَابًا عَظِيمًا. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared for them a great torment. A great torment. So what is the result of somebody who does this? فَجَزَاؤُهُ جَهَنَّمُ. He will be in the hellfire, خَالِدًا فِيهَا, in it, remaining in it forever. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's wrath will be on that individual. Allah ta'ala's wrath will be on that individual. He curses him and has prepared for him a great torment, a great punishment. And our people, ignoring these, are murdering needlessly Muslims and killing one another. Just look at what happened in Pakistan, in Lahore some days ago. The police forces are firing and killing other Muslims for no reason whatsoever. Innocent people being killed by those people who you expect security from, by those people who you expect will be giving you safety and give you protection. Look what the Quran Majid says about, look what the Prophet ﷺ says as well. The Prophet ﷺ in a hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari and with different words in other sources as well, the definition of a Muslim, what the Prophet ﷺ provides, the definition of a Muslim. What is the characteristic of a Muslim? The Prophet ﷺ says, Al-Muslimu man salim al-Muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadihi. A Muslim is that individual from whom other Muslims are safe, feel safe from their tongue and from their hands. And this is a great test. You should think about yourselves. How do other Muslims feel when they are around you? Do they feel threatened? Do they feel threatened physically? Or do they feel threatened because you may abuse them? Or do they feel threatened that in your non-presence, behind your back, they may be saying things, what are things that you would not like that they say about you? You may be around a Muslim. If you're around a Muslim and you know that the brother next to you, you don't feel safe from either his hands or from his tongue, then the Prophet ﷺ says that is not the definition of a believer. They are not the characteristics of a believer. You should feel safe. Muslims feel safe when they are around one another. This is the key defining element of a Muslim. You feel safe when you are around other believers. Believers should feel safe and protected when they are around one another, not feel threatened that they are going to be killed by the next individual. And just looking at what happened in Pakistan just some days ago, not only were these Muslims who we should be feel safety when we are around, feel safety from, they are the individuals that were supposed to provide other Muslims security, provide other Muslims safety. It was Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu who set up the first systematic police force in Islam. The first systematic police force. That is the police force that, and the security forces that our Muslims should be trying to emulate. Instead, they are a threat and killing their own Muslim brethren. Those people they are supposed to protect from the murderers and the killers, they have become the murderers themselves. Absolute tragedy. Look at what's happening in the Middle East. Muslims killing one another, slaughtering each other alive, having no fear whatsoever of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Mercilessly. Where is this punishment? Tell me someone, where is this punishment of slaughtering somebody alive with a sharp knife? And I think if we just ponder on this, it's a great moment of tragedy and contemplation for all of us. Because what point we are at the moment in the Muslim world, just looking at Pakistan, what's happened, look what's happening in the Middle East, is that Muslims seem to have lost the mercy from their hearts. Lost the mercy from their hearts. We are the ummah of the most merciful, Rahmatul lil Alameen, who is a mercy for all of the worlds. But if you look at the Muslims today, they have no mercy. Not an inch of mercy remains in their hearts if they can butcher men, women and children alive who are Muslims. In fact, the hadith I mentioned is about Muslims, but there is one tradition in Musnad, Imam Ahmad and other places as well, where the Prophet ﷺ, after saying about the definition of a Muslim, says, who is the mu'min? Al-mu'minu man amanahu. A Muslim is that, a mu'min is that individual, man amanahu nas, who other, not only Muslims, but who the general mankind, who that individual from whom humanity feels safe, feels aman, feels security. Look, the two root words of our religion, what is it? Islam and Iman. Islam is our religion, Iman is our faith. And Islam comes from the word that I just mentioned in the previous hadith, man salimal muslimun, safety. And man amana is security. So safety and security is the root, is the key foundations of our faith. That's what our religion, that's the root of our religion, linguistically speaking, and also speaking from a theoretical and theological point of view. We've completely lost it. We've completely lost it. So we should be setting an example for the whole world that the Muslims are those individuals who can provide humankind with security and safety. That's what the hadith says. Al-mu'minu man amanahu nasu ala dima'ihim wa amwalihim. That the other individuals of this earth, be they Muslim or not Muslim, that their lives and that their wealth feel safe, their property. So they should feel safe and so should their property. In other words, their houses. They should not feel that they're going to be burgled by a Muslim. They should feel that they are safe from another Muslim. They should not feel that their money is going to be stolen from a Muslim or their car will be stolen. This is what it means, that their wealth, their property, they feel safe from other Muslims. That is the definition of a Muslim and a mu'min. And we should reflect on ourselves. Do we fit these definitions of a Muslim and a mu'min that the Prophet ﷺ says? Not if we look at the Muslim world, with other Muslims butchering each other, slaughtering each other. And the barbarism is at such levels that we struggle to even watch these images on the television screens. Sending other Muslims to dig their own graves and then spraying them with bullets, saying, dig your own grave because this is where you're going to end up, with threatening them with their guns. And as soon as they've gone in, digging this grave, then they spray them with bullets. In Pakistan, in Lahore, a pregnant woman was shot alive. A pregnant woman these people killed. That is supposed to be their own sister. As Muslims, we are supposed to be one ummah. But they are killing their own sisters and their women so mercilessly. Not an inch of mercy remains in the hearts of these Muslims. Is this the preparation of Ramadan that they are making? Compare this with the preparation that the Sahaba went months in advance for the excitement of the month of mercy. The month of mercy is upon us, but the mercy in the hearts of the believers, not an inch of mercy in the hearts of many of these so-called believers remains. So it's a great time of reflection, of great distress, or it should be a great time of distress for Muslims watching this video or watching what's unfolding in the Muslim world. And just one more thing I would like to say. If you look at all the problems, look at the violence that's happening, look at the civil wars that are occurring and instability that's happening. By and large, in fact almost in every single case, you'll find that the Muslims are warring against each other. It's the Muslims that are killing each other, fighting each other. None of this is happening in the West. Well, these countries are in safety. It's peace, serenity, security. Everybody's living their lives completely fine and happy. But all of the mess and the fitna is happening in the Muslim world. Now it's for us to think, why is this happening? Why is this happening? I mean, I'm not saying that the West is not involved in any of these conflicts. It's Muslims killing one another, but we know there is Western involvement. But it's for us to know better, for the Muslims to know better, not to be influenced by the West if they are part of this, indirectly or directly, in whatever way, in any way whatsoever. In the end, we are responsible for our actions and what we are doing. We have got to protect our own brothers and sisters. Now within this, I'm not including, for example, what the Pakistan army is doing against these rebels or terrorists or these Kharijites in Pakistan. We fully support that war because that's what the Sharia says. That if there is a rebellion of this sort, people who are trying to destabilize the nation or killing other Muslims, then it is the responsibility of the Islamic government to suppress that violence. To suppress violence, this is the responsibility of the Muslim government of the day. So we fully back that and we fully support that. That the extermination of these Kharijites, whether it is in Pakistan or anywhere else in the world in the Middle East, that is the responsibility of these governments. And Muslims must get together to repel this. Because what did they say? What did these people say what they are going to do in Iraq as well? They threatened that they are going to demolish the graves of the awliya, of the Ahlul Bayt. And they're going to exhume the bodies. These are threats that they have made. And they've done it elsewhere, for example. And you've seen it in Libya. It's happened in Libya with great awliya and great shuyukh like Sheikh Ahmad Zurruq rahmatullah alayh, a great scholar who had some of the largest classes in Al-Azhar al-Sharif. People would flock to him in Egypt, in Cairo, to study his lessons. And then as a wandering Sufi, he ended up in Libya and wrote a famous book called Qawaid al-Tasawwuf, which is a Sufi manual, a manual for Sufis. And that individual, his shrine was destroyed and his body was exhumed. And you can expect the same will happen, or that they intend to do the same. May Allah Ta'ala protect them and protect the blessed land of Iraq from these violent and these merciless individuals. And they've said it, this is the land of great awliya, of Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa, of Shaykh Abdul Qadir al-Jilani radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, of Imam Musa al-Kazim, Imam Hassan Askari, Imam Junaid Baghdadi. All of these great awliya and these members of the Ahlul Bayt are in these holy lands. And their places, these symbols of our devotion, these places of our devotion are under threat from these very individuals. So we must think, how has this happened? How have we allowed this to happen? And how are these Muslims killing other Muslims in this way, that they have completely lost any faith in Iman? Just today on the news I was seeing, there was a Muslim woman from this country who was crying and bemoaning the fact that her one and only son had left to fight with these Kharijites. And she was crying and longing for her son and said, you are my only son and this is my message to me. Please come back because I am dying. You say you are going to help other people who are dying, this is what you claim, but then you don't care about your mother who is dying at home, who needs you here. And this is the message that I'd like to give all of our brothers and sisters watching this video, that it's our responsibility and our duty to understand what is happening and prepare for the month of mercy. How are we going to spiritually purify ourselves? How are we going to come out spiritually enriched from this month? It seems like nobody has got a care whatsoever in the Muslim world that the month of Ramadan is upon us, where we wish to gain the blessings and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. First of all, may Allah ta'ala give myself the tawfiq, the ability to engage with Ramadan, to worship in Ramadan, to have those intentions and hopes in Ramadan Sharif that the Prophet ﷺ taught the Sahaba. And may Allah ta'ala give all of you watching this video that same tawfiq. And I pray that all of you have a very joyous and blessed Ramadan. Wa ma alayna illa al-balagh al-mubin.